there's a lot of news coming out about Davante Adams. Don't say anything. Don't be tampering with shit, Aaron. Don't you be tampering with anything. Seems to be heating up the internet right now.
Oh, yeah.
As we speak, heating up about the Davante Adams Las Vegas Raiders situation. Antonio Pierce, won't put you in a spot. You were talking about playing golf with him out of Tahoe when he said, can't wait to play with him again. Mike Greenberg said he'll do a show shirtless, I think is what he said, if Davante Adams doesn't end up as a New York Jet. And
Does not?
Yeah, that's what he said. By Halloween. Obviously, that's right before the trade deadline. That's what Mike Greenberg said before the season even started. He said, I'll go naked. I'll do it. He's that matter of fact about it. He said he would go dong out, I think, on get up.
Sack and all.
If it didn't happen.
On the table.
I think that is what he said. So
On the table.
Yeah, we shall see. Obviously, Brian Flores' defense is a phenomenal one. Excited to see you joust with him. This Davante Adams, Las Vegas Raiders situation is brewing.
Getting loud.
It is getting very, very loud. Davante Adams on with Kay Adams on Up and Adams. He says his side about it, how he hasn't talked to the organization. Then there's some newsbreakers, local newsbreakers, NFL cover that are like, hey, sources are telling us that Antonio Pierce liking that particular post that reported that Davante Adams might have played his last snap for the Las Vegas Raiders is an indicator of how it is going behind the scenes, where the Raiders have potentially even reached out to other teams that might be interested in a veteran wide receiver. This whole song and dance potentially happened in the offseason, but they put it out, said, nah, Davante's one of our pillars. Max Crosby's one of our pillars. Now, all of a sudden, it's becoming kind of a story. And you have a lot of teams around the league that are looking for another weapon, especially with how the offenses have performed this particular season. D-Butch, Davante Adams on the move. It feels, and we're just catching up. We're just catching up, reading tweets, because it's active. This is an active happening right now as we're talking about it. Seems like there's a chance Davante Adams is not a Raider going forward. And you think about Rashee Rice. We obviously just had Aaron on, who's talked glowingly about Davante Adams. Davante Adams has spoken glowingly about him. You think they would want another weapon? Of course they would. There's NFL offensive productions. Anybody that wants to go on a Super Bowl, it's like, could be a great market for Davante and many other wide receivers.
It's getting loud, and Davante is in the prime of his career. He's still a great receiver, probably still a top 5, top 10 receiver, he feels. But at that position, you need a quarterback that's going to get you the ball. You need a good system. Aaron talked a lot about systems. And another thing he said about Davante, like, he practices and he goes about his business the right way. That's the only thing I've heard of him throughout his entire career. And at this point, the noise hopefully is just outside the building. Obviously, once you get the head coach liking a post or something, that makes it kind of everybody's news. Okay, everybody's kind of in it. Then Davante has to answer questions about it. Antonio Pierce has to answer questions about it. It is getting louder. Obviously, Shefty shot down the potential trade to the in-division Chiefs, but you would think it's a lot of teams out there who would want a guy like Davante Adams, but he kind of went to bat for Antonio Pierce. Him, Max, all those big-time guys kind of went to bat for their coach, so I would be surprised if he just kind of switched it up at this point this soon. It'll be interesting, something to keep our eyes on, November 5th? Deadline? So long time. We'll see.
The Instagram matters conversation has been happening, I think, with younger media for a few years now. Probably 4 or 5. As long as we've been operating, social media reaction by players in the offseason matters. And at the beginning of this entire thing, all the, I don't want to say legacy media, but journalists, the legacy medias would be like, we're worried about what an Instagram post is. Yeah. We're worried about them removing photos on their Facebook, my face. Okay.
Whatever that means.
It's like, it's very real. It has been very real on numerous occasions. It is the player's way to indicate how they feel about a situation. If a player breaks up with a significant other, guess what else is getting deleted from that particular account? Boom! Significant other never existed. So if a player is deciding, hey, I don't want to be seen in this uniform ever again, even though I'm under contract, that is a massive statement. Antonio Pierce liking that post is a big conversation, because Antonio Pierce, young enough, understands what the implications potentially are. Did he accidentally do it while he was just scrolling? Was he just scrolling and
that was his real account too? We know that was confirmed his real account.
Yeah. Does he run his account?
Yeah, there's so many things. Was it an accident? And now there's full questions, so we'll wait until Antonio Pierce talks again. But it's like shit that happens on social media does matter. It matters a lot, and it has for some time now, even though people haven't necessarily wanted to admit it. And you talk about Davante Adams. He mentioned Adam Thielen's name in there.
Oh, yeah.
Then he mentioned
the Deontay
Johnson.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of names potentially at that wide receiver position that are on the market. And Schefter's big take was you can't just drop them in. It's not like how it works. You don't just boop, and then they have success.
To another team?
Yeah. But it is, there are some
I
places
think you could drop Davante in. You could drop Davante into most places, and he'd be all right.
Yeah, especially depending on like what team.
What are you talking about?
I think he was talking Adam Thielen, Deontay. I think like the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about the entire wide receiver market. But like with where offenses are versus where I assume some people thought they were going to be and how they're performing, you can add another weapon. I think wide receiver trade. I think there's going to be a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be some real action at the trade deadline November 5th.
I mean, I get what Schefter's saying, but like just going back a few years to the Rams, like Odell goes to L.A. and he has like 8 touchdowns in 5 games or something absurd like that. Like it can't happen if they go to the right place. So you're talking about like an Andy Reid and like the Chiefs getting a guy, or I mean, we saw it last night, the Lions go after somebody, or the Packers, even like a Davante reunion with Matt LaFleur with a young wide receiver room. Like that would be pretty sweet.
Pittsburgh
as well.
Steelers, a lot of fans think that they still need a number 2 wide receiver after they were allegedly in the Brandon Ayuk combo.
Anyone who was in that conversation, I would assume, is still probably especially the Commanders. If you get one, I was going to maybe not them, but the Commanders. If you go someone with Terry McLaurin, something like that. Steelers, those were the teams.
I didn't even think about the Commanders now all of a sudden being a good place to land.
Yeah.
I mean, you would want to. I don't know how much if he has no trade or anything like that, but he would want to go to a quarterback if he were to move, because I mean it is so frustrating as a receiver. And I went to college and I had a choice. Hey, receiver, DB. And it was pretty quick. All right, Dan Orlowski's gone. Trying to figure out all right, you know what? I'm going to DB because I can control much more of my fate. I could just be running routes, throwing my hand up. Hey, pops, post these clips of me. I'm fucking. You're not throwing me the ball. You got to worry about protection. You got to worry about a good game plan.
True.
And then once defenses start to say, all right, hey, because every week, Wednesday team meeting, Davante Adams is going to be a game record. So teams are going into games, with a plan to take him away. So you got to have a coach and a quarterback that's smart enough to still get you open. So it has to be so frustrating for him going from a guy like Aaron Rodgers in that system and always having an option to get open. All right, they're going to be rolling up to you. Just sit in that window. I'm going to find you, and then go into a situation where, hey, Derek Carr may be the guy. Now he's out. Now we're trying to figure it out. So it's tough.
I know, and a lot of people will say, well, he chose to do that. That was kind of like one of the conversations was like, allegedly, Davante never said this. We're just saying people were saying he wanted to prove it's not just everybody gives Aaron the credit of it.
Fair.
And it's like, I want to do this. And I think a lot of people were he got paid at the time so much money for the wide receiver position. 100% earned, deserved.
Yep.
You get it, but a lot of people said maybe it'll be different whenever, depending on who your quarterback is. I think then Derek ends up leaving.
Yeah, has a great season.
Has a great season, ends up leaving. It's like then you get a quarterback carousel, which I assume he didn't think he was going to end up in because once again he's college teammates with the guy.
Yep.
He gets pushed out.
Yeah.
He gets pushed out the door, seemingly in the middle.
Benched.
And then Davante's like, what the hell? I didn't know I was signing up for this, though. It's
prime, too. Still in his prime.
So good at football.
3 years in a row. And they had Jimmy G last year. It wasn't even just hey, I'm going to the Raiders because me and Derek Carr, good relationship, Raiders fan. I'll go there and play with him again. We played in college. It'll be awesome. They push him out, bring in Jimmy G. He plays with Jimmy G. They push him out, and now he's with Gardner. It would make sense if he was like, you know what, actually, I do want to get.
And Gardner's a dog. We all understand that. We are very appreciative for Gardner Minshew for what he did for the Indianapolis Colts last year. Adam Thielen, though, got a big payday from the Carolina Panthers, right? That was under a different regime, different coach. Deontay Johnson, whatever ends up happening down there in Carolina, I guess
he's on his last year because he got traded this offseason from the Steelers.
Yeah, but he's got 1 year left. Are they going to pay him long term? Who knows? Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. So he's available. Yeah. Then there's, who else did he say? He said Nuke Hopkins, potentially available. And he's going to get, he's D-Hop. So if he gets on a team that has 2 other weapons, or he's going to be able to make plays.
Still looked unbelievable last night.
Yeah.